TISA is to be able to raise kids in a holistic way. We have all kinds of intelligences and not just one way to approach. We want the school experience to be very enriching. Our tagline is a better way to learn. We want a school where kids are excited. You know, I have a son going to traditional school, and after school I ask him, oh, what happened? And he say, oh, same old. And that's not what I want for kids. We want kids to come out of school and excited and bubbling with ideas and talking to their parents in school. And that's what's happening in this. To make the education holistic, experiential, we want the kids to be able to be artistic and academic at the same time. We are the first school in the Philippines to really use an arts integrated program. And I just know that it's going to change education altogether. We've
The Philippines Uncut. I'm your host, Buddy Corona. Tonight's topic is the art of learning. And joining me still is Jules Bermudez, or teacher Jules, and he is the principal of the School of Academics and Arts. And with him now is Ethany Fahutag, or teacher Hani, and she is the lead teacher of DSAA, or the School of Academics and Arts. So welcome back, Jules.
Thank
and,
you.
Of course, welcome, Hani, to Philippines Uncut. Now, before we start, let's talk about your background.
Oh, I taught for almost 12 years, and I came from a Montessori school, and I've taught abroad as well for about 5 years.
Now, what led you to this type of progressive educational system?
Basically, maybe I get hands-on experience with the kids, so I can see if they're really enjoying their learning. And when I had my interview with TISA, I was blown away by the mission and the vision of the school, which is to just make the learning better and fun for the students.
You know, I'm glad you threw out that word, enjoying, because for a lot of people didn't like school.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who didn't like school didn't succeed in school. They ended up dropping out, performing poorly, being subjected to labels like, you know, stupid or slow learner, whatever, low IQ, etc., etc. Now, I mean, the three of us went to traditional schools. I went to one. I'm sure you guys went to one as well. And apparently, you know, it did work for us, right? But unfortunately, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there are a number of students that traditional schools just don't work for. No? And I guess these are the students who are often who are left behind.
Yeah.
Diba? What do you have to say about that, Jules?
I mean, because there is a problem with the approach.
Yeah.
We use the arts integrated curriculum in the School of Academics and Art. So we utilize the arts to engage the children into the learning. And of course, when they're hooked, misbehaviors, or, you know, they don't feel like coming to school, that's mitigated, or that's taken out of the picture. So I think this is an amazing curriculum because we get to identify what is essential to the soul. I think that is very essential. The arts.
Absolutely.
To the spirit as well.
Absolutely.
We're really honing and we're really capturing what the crux of the matter is. And that is education.
Unfortunately, you know, in our society, a lot of people don't view the arts this way, no?
Yes.
For a lot of schools, let's say traditional schools, especially, when you say arts, it's something on the side, like, okay, it's like an audit course.
Yes.
No, it's like
if
something
there's
that
budget to be cut, that's the art.
and then the parents don't really, oh, okay, you did well in math and science and in English,
really look
Yeah.
bravo. But then, okay, you scored an A or a 95 in arts. Okay, so what? That's fine, no? How come? I mean, why is it that there seems to be some sort of, people don't look at arts so importantly?
Yeah.
Hani, what do you think is the reason?
Maybe because we're traditionally wired in that way. We were brought up that way, so that's why, okay, we bring it to the children as well. We expect them to do the things that we were used to do because, like we said, it worked for them.
Or maybe, you know, it seemed
really
to have worked. I mean, but in your case, you told me off camera before we came on that you felt that you feel that you could have gone further,
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
Yes, because the progressivist would really allow for a child to think outside of the box and to asking questions is very encouraged. especially in
Don't stop
classes.
questions.
We have like a tiny bunch of kids in the class, but everybody has a tendency to just open their mouth and spit out facts or even like really contribute to the meaningful discussion that's been going on.
I'm so glad you
in
brought
the
that
class.
up, because it brings me back, it brings memories back decades ago when I was in school, in let's say elementary.
Yes.
And, compared to my recollection of those years was that we were kind of scared to ask questions, no? Parang, it wasn't as
Yeah.
free-flowing as what you guys seem to describe in your school.
And you know what? That's why we have Google makers, because these authors or
Think
these
outside the
makers
box.
actually, and then they were raised from a progressivist environment.
Okay, let's jump into the School of Academics
And
and Arts. So the founder, give us a background first of the school.
The founders
Jules.
are the founder is Mr. Audie Himora.
Very famous gentleman.
Yes, a thespian, and of course the Sadicons, Rowena Sadicon and Noel Sadicons. They partnered to continue the advocacy for the arts integrated curriculum.
Okay.
In a school.
Okay, when we talk about arts integrated curriculum, as Jules mentioned, how do you make arts, integral, or how do you make it really part of the daily life of students?
Arts is not just the visual arts that what we usually think about. It's not just the making of crafts, making of coloring or painting.
Yeah.
Arts is a very wide term. But in school, in TISA, we use different art forms, which is like theater, dance, singing, music, visual arts, recreational arts. We use the art form, and we identify the art form first, and then we integrate the lesson.
Interesting. How do you integrate arts in the lesson? Okay, let's choose an art. Let's say theater. How do you integrate it with math? Jules.
I mean, in the theater, there are so many opportunities. If you have to create a costume, then children will have to use a unit of measurement to actually come up with that. We can actually utilize so many like operational skills, the basics of addition and subtraction in creating a particular circumference of the lights, or width and breadth, and scopes, lengths, parameters, perimeters, etc. I mean, very holistic and very, encompassing is theater. Very interesting. We identify the artists as well.
Yes.
There will be
Even,
Henry Matisse week. There will be a
Really?
Martha Graham week.
Wow.
Who's a dancer. There will be a Pablo Picasso week. And then we try to tie it in with the maths, geometry, even sciences and biology. We try to provide a very robust context. That is very important, I think, because the kids would just slip out if they get to hear all these funny sounding names. But when they see the usability of that particular art form, and then they are able to engage really well, they get to practice. They really get to get down on their knees and really practice or work on that particular art form. Then they enjoy it. The finishing, the accomplishment of a particular project is sustainable or is achievable as well.
Do you believe that everyone is an artist at heart?
Definitely.
That we have that, because some people will say, oh, he's more arts oriented, he's more science oriented. So, people watching now might be thinking that, okay, my kid isn't really, doesn't really show potential in singing or dancing or drawing, whatever. Maybe this type of education is not for him. What do you have to say about that? In your experience, yeah.
In my experience, creativity is innate in all of us.
I think the mere breathing in and out is a form of art. To actually slowly breathe out, perhaps, or breathe in, and then walk. You saunter, you perhaps different gaits. That's a form of art, and everybody listens to different genre of music.
Sure,
and that's an art form. I don't think there is one person who has not subscribed to music.
I think art is just really an appreciation of what you have around you. It can be the small things, it can be the big things. Really just appreciation of creation.
The
right?
problem with us, if I may
Please.
the pay scale, the pay range is for the engineers and the mathematicians and the scientists. And that is why they are seen as the more important vocation. But if there's going to be an equity or equalizing element on that,
Actually, you know,
then I think it's going to be taken out of the
actually, the term
picture.
struggling artist, I mean, I don't hear struggling.
walang pera.
Yeah, I mean, that really is a very common, you hear it all the time,
Yes.
struggling artist or struggling musician.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, it really is
Yes.
looks like the nature of the game when
I
it comes to
know,
the arts.
I know.
Okay. How are your kids responding to this? Because, you know, as I mentioned earlier, some parents are probably thinking, okay, this might not be right for my kid because my kid is more sports-oriented or more science-oriented, whatever, no? How are your kids responding? Because I guess you guys have a broad range of students, not just, you know, those who are really into the arts, but, you know, a different mix. A different mix. How are they
The
responding?
history of most of our students
Yeah.
really did not thrive in a progressive, or traditional school. They did not want to speak. So I have a good bunch right now who never opened their mouth to be engaged socially. But we're just on the first few months of the school, right?
Yeah.
And they have started to connect. They have started to participate, and they have shined. If I may,
Very
They're
good.
actually
So-
involved in the process of learning.
Yes.
It's not just the teachers who teach, but they are involved in the learning a
How?
particular topic.
How, honey? How do you, let's say your students, how do you involve them in the process of learning?
Because basically teachers, as Teacher Jules mentioned, they are guides to students. We ask a lot of questions and they ask a lot of questions. So in order to arrive in a particular topic or in a particular outcome, let's say for example, we throw in questions to each other. Do you think it's like this? What can you say about this? So they are actually involved, not just their thinking skills as well as their senses, their whole body, and they use their totality in learning.
You mentioned that a lot of your students, or a good number, are those for whom traditional schools didn't work.
Yeah.
How about special kids or kids with special needs? Do you also cater to them?
Yes, we practice inclusion. So in inclusion, as opposed to mainstreaming, in inclusion classes, if there is an identified children with or identified child with special needs, then that child is provided with accommodations and modifications. It's like the child has the spotlight on him or her, meaning we create an environment that will allow for him to enjoy speaking, to really play, and to be in a way, to be very intelligent.
Yes.
In posing questions, in responding to teachers. So many subtleties in the class, but we really cater to these children as well.
And what do you call this? They are in a class with the regular
The rest
kids,
of the-
so
yes,
it's not a
regular
special
kids,
group for
no.
them, and which is good. What is the effect on these special kids because of this? That they're thrown
special
in.
kids?
Yeah, what is the effect on them? It's good. No, it's good for them. It's good, right?
If there is a good number of the neurotypical kids, meaning the normal kids, if they are speaking properly, if they can actually model the right behavior, how to react, how to ask, how to speak, how to the simplest raising of hands.
Yes.
That's
The
modeled in the class.
modeling the behavior.
So if they see that, I think there's a very good study about this. Mirror genes, right?
mirror.
So it really brings them out of their shell, no?
Yes.
Very nice. Jules, Han, we have paused for break. When we come back, we'll talk about your curriculum. How do you develop it? And the process that goes on, let's say, in the school. What is a usual day for students in the School of Academics and Arts?
Thank you.
Guys, more of the art of learning when Philippines Uncut returns.
be able to raise kids in a holistic way. We have all kinds of intelligences and not just one way to approach. We want the school experience to be with ideas and talking to the parents in school, and that's what's happening in this. To make the education holistic, experiential, we want the kids to be able to be artistic and academic at the same time. Very enriching. Our tagline is a better way to learn. We want a school where kids are excited. You know, I have a son going to traditional school, and after school I ask him, oh, what happened? And he say, oh, same old, same old. And that's not what I want for kids. We want kids to come out of school and excited and bubbling with